Hi. Yep, once again it's Ed from Exotic Blanks going through the carbide tool. This one we're going to call how to use the carbide tool on the level. As you can see, there's a level available that will go on the actual shaft of the carbide tool. This can be kind of useful if it's your first time using these tools because they tell you you're supposed to keep that bubble right in the middle, on the level, so to speak. That works out very well. So if you take the time to put the level on it, you will have a guide as to how you're doing and how to keep your tool where it belongs. Above and beyond that, it's just a matter of keeping it square to the tool rest and trying to keep your tool in about the middle of the blank. As the blank becomes smaller, it becomes a little more important that it's close to the middle. At the beginning, you can go a little to the top of middle, but as it takes off material, it really is a good idea to try to adjust it down so that you are at the middle of that blank when you're doing your turning. There's not much to say about turning with this tool. If you're going with the round nose, as I'm using here, what they call the finisher, it's very, very simple. You can go a little up or a little down with your backhand, and it doesn't seem to affect anything much. You continue to be able to turn, continue to take off material. I have not figured out a way to make it catch. So it's a very simple tool, and it's a very simple process. I think it's excellent for beginners and even for people who have been doing a lot of turning. If you're working on harder materials, particularly from the square to the round, this is a nice, easy way to get it to come down to size. So give it a try. That's the round nose. I'm going to show next the other cutter, so we'll see a little of how the other cutter works. Just for kind of a means of comparison, I started this blank from square and used a skew. It will cut it. I'm taking pieces off, small pieces off. I'm taking very thin cuts because it is a very hard material. But I wanted to at least show that, yes, you can cut it with the skew. It takes a little bit more effort and a little bit more time. Then if you transfer to what they call their R2 product, it's C1R2, which basically is a radius, 2-inch radius cutter. So you have a slight curve to the part that is meeting the blank. And as you can see, immediately it started taking things off in ribbons, or little tiny ribbons, because we're still going corner to corner. It's not round yet. And it is really an awful lot easier to turn with that cutter than it is to try to do it with a skew. Once it's down to the round, you probably will want to go back to some other kind of a finishing tool, or if you're newer and you want to just take some sandpaper, that will work. That pretty much covers the Easy Wood tools. That might be the Cliff Note version. To summarize a bit, we are using the Easy Start tool section, which are the smallest of the tools, but for pen turning, I don't see a need to go into anything any larger than that. Their small one with a round nose is called their finisher. The small one with the square nose is called the rougher, and the diamond one is called their detailer. You probably won't need the detailer, so I would recommend that you look at the rougher and the finisher. Actually, the rougher and a R2 2-inch radius cutter is probably another good possibility if you're trying to do just pens. That might even replace the square cutter and work pretty well. The other thing you may want to do is look at the level. It's very inexpensive, and it does assist you when you're trying to learn how to use the tool. You know when you're level, and you can kind of evaluate whether you agree with them that it has to be level or if you want to be a little above or a little below. I found that cutting with it it's certainly not critical to be level, but it is a good place to start. There's also what they call a chip deflector. If you're concerned about the chips coming up and hitting you, that additional part can be put on the shaft, and that will make sure that the chips don't hit you. That's all there is to it. We'll take a peek at the actual finished pen and a picture of the wood tool. And with that, I'll say thank you for watching. This is Ed from Exotic Blanks. Till next time, bye now.